So this is an actual this is a quote from boxing scene. I spoke to Rocnation recently about Lomachenko fighting Rigondeaux, said Bob Arum. Rigondeaux has agreed to move from 122, where he holds a junior featherweight title, to face Lomachenko at 130 pounds. So already we know that the weight has been confirmed. He will move to 130 pounds. People have been people have been really getting bent out of shape about this subject, and I think yo, we need these two to happen. Here's what Arum said about the money situation. Arum told wait, Rigondeaux was entitled to a big purse, but not a crazy purse. This isn't Christmas where you're giving everything away. Isn't his career high purse something like 750,000 or 720 something that he made against Nonito Donaire? And since then, he really hasn't been making anything. He hasn't been headlining any cards here over in the United States since the Joseph Abeko fight. Now he fought Look Nyong Sang Yang. I forgot to pronounce the guy's name. After Joseph Abeko, and that's basically because he was pretty much kicked off of HBO. And Arum didn't make it any better when he condemned him to the media, saying, the son of a bitch just has to fight, or something along those lines. Then he went over to Japan and fought Hisashi Yamagasa, broke his jaw, fought on the undercard of Cotto versus Canelo in a fight that, where he went back to being the sweet side. See, here's the thing about Rigondeaux, right? People say he's boring, but it's like he's not appealing to to the casual fan. But to the hardcore fan, we already know what to expect. We know it's going to be some sweet sciencey type, Cuban school shit. But as of lately, he's been breaking jaws, and he's been actually going outside of his fighting style and being more aggressive. So realistically, outside of the Francisco fight, he hasn't been and since the Abeko fight, that's what 1, 2, 3, 4. Only in his last 5 fights, one of them has really been boring, or what people can consider boring. I mean, he's been breaking jaws and everything. But as I said, he wants to be great. He's talking all this shit. Listen, if this Lomachenko fight happens, it has to happen now. And what would you consider him pricing himself out? Now, I'm thinking that, okay, here's what I've learned about the Top Rank deal. The Top Rank deal with ESPN, they have enough money to put together the quality of main events that Showtime can put on, maybe even better. They may have like a bigger budget to have A-side versus A-side matchups. So the money is there for Rigondeaux and Lomachenko. We saw that with Pacquiao. We see that with the Julius Ndongo fight, and the Terence Crawford and Julius Ndongo are both making $1 million or over, whatever the case may be. You saw that Orlando Salido was offered a career high payday to fight Lomachenko. It was like $750,000. He turned it down. So you had to think, well, how much was Lomachenko going to make? So it had to be at least, it was going to be around that amount, maybe more. Even though he lost the first fight. So the money is there for Rigondeaux to get about $1 million. And I understand what people are saying, about like Bob Arum and the low balling and everything like that. But it's not as deep as people be trying to make that shit out to be. It's got to the point where it's just like, if something don't happen, oh, well, I blame Bob Arum. But then, yeah, you don't bring up how, and thank you, Al Heyman, you don't bring up how, like, all Al Heyman fighters, have pretty much been staying away from Rigondeaux too. So do I feel that Bob Arum wants to make this fight? I really genuinely feel at this point in time that he does, because this is not a situation where they can fuck around with this ESPN deal. They have to deliver big fights, or if not big fights, meaningful fights that will bring in ratings. They can't do, after he was condemning Al Heyman for putting on, A-side versus J-side matchups, he can't go and do the same shit. So if you notice, they've been on a bit of a roll. Now, it's too early to say, but with the cards that they have and the cards they have lined up, even all the way down to Jesse Hart versus Gilberto Ramirez, that's a fight right there that HBO wouldn't have picked up. So as a boxing fan, you got to put your anger for the white man aside in this case, especially since we're living in a time like cultural and civil unrest with all this Trump shit going on, and Nazis over here, eclipses over here, then you got to look out for missiles over there. But like when it comes to boxing, we need to want the best and stop pointing the fingers, at the promoters all the time, especially when it comes to like the racial divides, pointing them finger at the white man. It's like, oh well, we already know the white man ain't gonna want, that shit to happen. You know how many times a dad get called a coon? That doesn't really bother me, because but what I do with social media and all the different platforms I have, you can't please everybody. You see what I'm saying? But one thing is for sure is, you can't call like somebody like myself, a coon, especially with, like my past. But I'm not asking you to know my past. What I'm saying is when it comes to boxing, I tell that shit like it is. I have no racial, bias towards anybody, when it comes to like the sport. I'm calling the shit like I see it. And it's not like I'm just making shit up. It's not like I'm just like, just pulling this shit out of a hat and saying like, no, man, everybody's always blaming Bob Arum, man, and not looking at, the shit that Bob Arum has done in the past and the things that he's said in the past. But in this case of this Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko, it's like, wait a minute, like, how did the race part get involved in this again? And I really do feel that Lomachenko is too big for Rigondeaux. But the thing is, Lomachenko's power is questionable at 130 pounds. Rigondeaux has been down multiple times in his career. So imagine in a close fight, if it's a close fight. These are two, arguably the best, Olympic gold medalists of all time, amateurs. So you have to think that, like what if Rigondeaux gets caught and he goes down, a couple of times? That's two 10-8 rounds right there. So it can be a fight like where he's holding his own, and he is very good. And Freddie Roach just was talking about like how you can't play with Rigondeaux. Lomachenko ain't gonna be doing all that, shit. It's gonna be a really real matching of wits. But I just don't like how the race things got involved in this. It's got involved in it too much, and it's like, yo, y'all motherfuckers don't really want to fight. If y'all like, y'all finding all kind of little shit to bitch at, and it's already known. Like if the fight doesn't happen, blame Bob Arum, and no matter what the case may be, even if you may feel Rigondeaux may have priced himself out, but what's pricing himself out? I do feel that he should get at least $1 million for this fight. Even if he gets $750K, he should get it. He damn sure got to get more than Salido, right? And he's damn sure got to get a career high payday. Remember, Mikey Garcia and Adrian Broner split $1 million. So he should get at least $750K. But if he talks about some 1.5 and or 2 million or some shit, then it's like, yo, on some real shit, y'all better say he priced himself out. And the thing is crazy because some big news is coming. Like word is that sooner than later, Andre Ward will be signing with Top Rank. And the same people who are all against Bob Arum are very big Andre Ward supporters. I wonder how they're going to handle that. I wonder how they're going to handle that situation. And if you look at Rigondeaux's situation at 122 pounds, he doesn't have any options of big money fights. There's no real big money fights out there at 122 pounds because the guys that were there have moved up to 126. The Leo Santa Cruzes, the Carl Framptons, the Abner Marises, So he's doing something great. If he's moving to 130, he will move to 130. He's going to take a big leap. That's some historic ass shit, and it's got to be respected. And people are saying stuff like already, well, Lomachenko's going to come in, weighing all this and all that. Yo, that's the sport of boxing. And I'm not, and he don't come in like weighing in at no 150 and no shit like that. He'd be like what, 140, like early 140s, something like that. So already, I don't want it to be a situation like where, if Lomachenko wins, if he wins, that people start discrediting his win to myself. Well, Rigondeaux was too small. Motherfuckers gonna be saying that shit, man. Where's the integrity when it comes to this, man? He's too small. You know, of course he was going to beat him, you know, but he won't go up to fight Mikey Garcia. Watch, they going to start. But now that we've got that taste of a big fight that could possibly happen, I don't want Salido. Salido was supposed to be the backup plan. So the plan is the fight's supposed to happen with Rigondeaux in New York either December the 9th or December the 23rd. If it doesn't happen on December, if it's not Rigondeaux, then it'll be Orlando Salido, or it's supposed to be Orlando Salido, you know? So, you know, it's an interesting situation, but one thing for sure is, you know, like, Bob Brim has said that he's reached out to Rocnation, you know, and the wheels are in motion, but yet y'all still gonna bitch and complain and call people names and shit and keep trying to find a way instead of taking accountability to blame the white man, you know? I can talk about it. Other people can't talk. I can talk about it. You know, I don't have no issues admitting, hey, listen, I'm a convicted felon. You know, I've seen the worst of racism, and I've seen the worst of the worst and been through the worst of the worst that a black man can go through in society. You know, so go ahead, call me a coon. You know, I just know that, you know, motherfuckers be weak-minded and just the crab in the barrel, you know, thing. You know, you hear one person say it, you be like, oh, well, you know, Bob Arum, yeah, Bob Arum, you know, and y'all don't go research yourself. But of course, y'all going to turn this around, make it seem like I'm saying that Bob Arum's a saint. I already know, but let me end this video before I start ranting. T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.